It's no secret that the tech scene has entered a new era, for better or for worse. But among the companies that are undergoing drastic changes right now, I'm particularly fascinated with what's going on at Nintendo. It is a very strange time to be a Nintendo enjoyer, as there's a lot to appreciate, but somehow, the company seems like it's going through the motions. I wouldn't say that they've completely dropped the ball like Nvidia or even on the level of our good friend, the Zuck, but I can't help but feel like the soul of the company is edging closer to the sentiment shared by other AAA gaming companies or something like Disney compared to where they once were. I imagine a shift in priorities is natural as upper management changes hands, but I'm curious about Nintendo's vision in the years to come, since it feels like they've turned their typical game plan on its head. Is Nintendo acting strangely, or am I just getting old? So I'm going to hit the ground running by talking about what is on everyone's minds right now, the Mario movie. For those of you who have not heard about the upcoming Mario movie, it's an animated movie about Super Mario coming in April next year, featuring mostly big Hollywood actors like Chris Pratt, Jack Black, Seth Rogen, and plenty other big-time names. Nintendo is backing the movie, and the animation is being taken up by Illumination, so this is a pretty big production. But why is there even a Mario movie being made at all? The measures being taken seem out of Nintendo's field from the outside looking in. But I would actually say that this has been a play in a long game that Nintendo started planning almost a decade ago. Nintendo content has been made into movies and shows before, but in the past, the demographic was more clearly the people who enjoyed the games. Aside from the more obscure Super Mario Bros. Show, Kirby Right Back at Ya, and that weird Donkey Kong one, the only franchise that Nintendo has ever cared to adapt to the big screen with pride was Pokemon. One of these things is not like the other though, and we can see that the one movie that started to uncover Nintendo's grand plan was 2019's Detective Pikachu, where the movie's selling point was largely centered around Ryan Reynolds' role as Pikachu. Although I would say that other video game adaptations like the Sonic movie solidified Nintendo's desire to churn out a Mario movie using Hollywood actors to cast a wider net, Nintendo's plan of a Mario movie dates back to 2018 and unofficially to 2015, which marked their partnership with Universal Studios to create the Super Nintendo World section of the theme park in Japan, which is being extended to other parks to complement the release of the Mario movie. Hollywood movies? Theme parks? From Nintendo? What gives? Well, as most people are familiar with, the debut of the Wii U was a massive fail. And Nintendo has been flailing for many years to regain footing once the original Wii was old news. It was clear as day that the quality of the Nintendo experience had massively tanked over the years, and the new first-party games became scarce, and even when they did release, they were some of the most bare-bones, joyless products we had ever seen before. Mario Party 10, Animal Crossing Mario Party, Mario Super Tennis Ultra, Pokemon Rumble U, no new main LOZ games. I was backing up my games not too long ago to load onto my Steam Deck, and despite owning over 35 Wii U games, the only one I cared to get on my Steam Deck was Wind Waker HD. A great game, but not even a Wii U original. I might have loaded new Super Mario Bros. U or Nintendo Land, but those don't make for great single-person experiences, so I opted not to. With this in mind, I can't completely blame Nintendo for trying to pivot into other mediums of entertainment to supplement the void left by their decline in video games. So it turns out that Nintendo has had this whole thing in the works for a long time now, which is fine, but what does that mean for the old school Nintendo fan? Well, unfortunately, if you like Nintendo games, or used to anyway, you're going to be denied satisfaction for a while. Aside from the occasional bangers like Mario Odyssey, Breath of the Wild, Smash Ultimate, Metroid Dread, and Xenoblade, the catalog of worthwhile Switch games will continue to be limited. Nintendo is kind of joining the big boy club of media makers like Sony and Disney, so I sadly won't be holding my breath for any huge advances on the video game front. Like most wise people say, actions speak louder than words. With how Nintendo has approached the gaming sphere, it's clear where priorities are. I used to enjoy every main Pokemon title, but I haven't had a good time since Generation 5, with a few exceptions here and there. Mario Kart used to be one of the biggest deals for both Nintendo fanboys and normies alike, but Mario Kart 8 has been around for almost 10 freaking years. And Nintendo is so out of touch, or unmotivated, I can't really tell which, that Persona 5 is only now coming to Switch after years of being requested. Persona 5's protagonist was in Smash Bros. For years before his series got any representation on the console. Another thing, one of the most memorable gems from the Wii era was Wii Sports, which was bundled with the Wii at launch. Nintendo didn't have to do anything for the Switch, but we have Switch Sports now, I guess. It only took them over 5 years to get around to it, and surprise, surprise, no one really cares. And the final kick in the cock was this guy. Rumors of a Switch Pro with improved specs had been lurking all over the internet for months when Sony and Microsoft were gearing up for their next console release, but instead of seeing Nintendo throw their hat in the ring and deliver on what so many were wanting, they gave us this embarrassment instead. People were hoping that they would at least be giving us better hardware, but Joy-Con drift still plagues the Switch, which at this point is outclassed by the Steam Deck in almost every conceivable way. Not to mention, Nintendo's policy with online multiplayer is one of the most backwards and unintuitive structures ever. Every Switch game I've used online services for, which by the way you have to pay for on top of paying your internet service provider, has had clunky UI and mediocre latency at best. I don't hold the bar crazy high for games that don't rely on the internet component, but for those that do, it is frustratingly bad. Not to mention, Nintendo's fix to help people with online was telling them to open pretty much all the ports on the router. Do not, and I repeat, do not do this. This is a huge security concern, and I expect more from one of Japan's top companies to not be giving such poor advice. I apologize for turning this into such a rant, but like many other Nintendo game fans being cucked by our Japanese overlords, everything I say about the company comes from love and respect that they had earned from a younger version of myself. I could look past their frivolous legal shenanigans when it came to stuff like emulation or broadcasting competitive Smash Bros, or how they make people pay for a little online service that does things worse than other game companies, but what I can't ignore is where the heart of the company lies now. This really is a new era for Nintendo, and the transformation to big soulless corporation is very possible and sad to watch. You either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. That being said, I will still always have some affinity for Nintendo and their products, and I'm no stranger to sticking around even when they are down and out. I mean, I own a Wii U and a copy of Mario Party 10, so that speaks for itself. Am I thrilled about the Nintendo game experience nowadays? Not like I used to be. Am I going to watch the Mario movie and check out the theme park? Absolutely. I still think those were made with care and passion, aside from casting Chris Pratt as Mario, so I'm definitely curious to see what's in store. I still have old Nintendo games to keep me company while I weather the storm, and now that I have been enjoying my Steam Deck as an all-in-one solution, I've really been getting hooked into the Yakuza series as of lately, so it's very possible that there may be some Yakuza content coming soon to this channel. Thank you for sticking around this far.
If you have enjoyed this video, please follow the like and subscribe protocol for quality assurance purposes. Thank you for watching, and may you enjoy your time at the factory.